Hello, welcome back to I Create for You. I'm so sorry about Friday. Had so much to do and I just couldn't squeeze a video in. But today we're going to do a haunted presidents, and the one I had, if I can find it, Martin Van Buren, the 8th president. And of course, I'm probably going to lose my voice. In her fascinating compendium, The Encyclopedia of Ghosts and Spirits, renowned author Rosemary Ellen Gilly reminds us, contrary to popular belief, most ghosts are not seen in graveyards but in structures, houses, and buildings. The ghost of Martin Van Buren unsurprisingly chooses to manifest not in the cold and lonely crypt, but in the gracious home in which he spent, by his own account, the happiest years of his life. Van Buren lived in Lindenwold, his estate near his birthplace at Kinderhook, New York, for 21 years after he left the White House. While his places of birth and death were only a few miles apart, Van Buren had traveled a huge distance in fame and fortune. The spirit of Van Buren, interestingly enough, often materializes in the company of his favorite son, John. The phantoms of father and son appear at the dining table in Lindenwold, relaxed and sociable, doing what they did best, charming their company and enjoying fine food and drink. Some observers report that the phantom of the former president can be seen surreptitiously reaching under his waistcoat to loosen the corset he wore in old age to hide an expanding belly. In youth he was 5 foot 6 inches tall and had a slim build, but in his middle age, his fondness for fancy wines imported from France, Italy, and Germany, accompanied by generous servings of gourmet food, had expanded his gut. The wealthy connoisseur of fine living and owner of a beautiful mansion and more than 200 acres of prime farmland had come a long way from the son of a Dutch tavern keeper. Martin was reared in a Dutch-speaking household. English was his second language, but he used it skillfully and persuasively, becoming a successful lawyer before entering politics full-time. The red-headed Van Buren quickly earned a reputation as the consummate politician, quietly wheeling and dealing to achieve his goals, and was nicknamed the Red Fox and the Little Magician. Perhaps that explains the watchful, self-satisfied, faint smile on the lips of his ghost. When Van Buren was only 36 years old, he lost his wife of 12 years. Overcome with grief, he placed his 4 sons in the care of relatives and became a workaholic. After 8 years in the state legislature, he was elected governor of New York, but resigned to become Andrew Jackson's Secretary of State and then Vice President. With Jackson's strong support, he was elected president in 1836. As he said later, the two happiest days of his life were entering the presidency and leaving it. The financial panic of 1837 wrecked the economy, and Van Buren got the blame. In the campaign of 1840, the Red Fox got a new nickname, Van Ruin. He was happy to retire to the life of a country gentleman. The second half of the ghostly duo at Lindenwold is the spirit of John Van Buren, Martin's second son and his favorite. John was like a distorted mirror image of his father. Martin was a great lawyer. John was even more brilliant. Martin, who had tended bar in his father's tavern as a young man, had a tremendous appetite and capacity for whiskey, but was never drunk. John was a raging alcoholic. Martin appreciated female society but avoided scandal. John was a notorious womanizer and degenerate gambler. So there they sit, side by side, father and son in ghostly form in Lindenwold's dining room. Martin Van Buren's spirit is a monument to hard work, shrewd planning, a touch of luck, and skillful skirting of scandal. His son's shade reflects the consequences of self indulgence carried to extremes. The little magician's political prowess carried him to the White House for one unhappy term, but his favorite son turned out to be a sad magnification of his father's character flaws. Okay. Let's see. Try to draw a picture. No, that didn't work out. That's not how I wanted to start the picture. I'm trying to draw a table that they could sit. How about if you know what? Well, they had a big family, so I guess he would have a big table, right? Seemed like he had a big family. It's pretty sad that he had to give up his children while grieving the loss of his wife and dive into his work. I guess that's how he dealt with the loss. I guess it's better than keeping the children at home and neglecting them and putting himself fully into his immersing himself in work. So you got to give him credit for that. Nowadays there's so much going on with kids not being raised in their families only because their fathers or mothers are that bad that they're taken away. So at least we know that he wasn't that bad of a parent, putting his kids first, then his work. So yeah. Okay, so there's a table. Huh. I guess I should get in frame. Okay, I forgot I had you guys zoomed in. Okay, so being that it's a dining room table, I'm going to put one here, and they're going to be funny looking. Put a dumb looking chair behind him. How's that sound? Make it a funny looking chair. Gives him bunny ears. Okay. He loved his wine. Always had a mighty fine wine. Oh boy. I guess I should stop singing. I'll just put little bits of food on the plate. Even though he's a ghost and he really doesn't need to eat anything. There's his fancy chair. Alright, now I'm going to do his son over here. I hope I don't shake you guys too much when I do this. I'm trying to find ways of doing my tripod so that it doesn't shake and that it's not in frame. there's one ghosty with the mosty. Now we'll do his son over here. Oh, he probably would need the whole bottle because he was the one that was a raging alcoholic, so they say. Doing the spoon and the fork and the knife. All right, so we'll get him over here. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Like I said, mine was a little bit crazy. We had that hamburger festival, and I was working really hard to replenish all those crocheted kitchen towels that I sold there. I've never had such a I can't think of the word. It was awesome because I've never had one. I had a thing where a craft fair or anything that I made so much money on and sold so much stuff. And I had to really replenish my towels. I even took towels and I was doing them there because I thought I'd have room. As I get room, I'd put them up, but they were taking it faster than I could make them. So yeah, it was not a thing that I could just keep up with the sales. And so I came and I counted how many I made, and I made 32 towels. I was like, man, if I don't get carpal tunnel from this, I'm good. But yeah, so I was really, 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 really trying to make these towels and getting more out, because this Saturday at our Tractor Supply here in Shoemakersville, which isn't too far away, about 2-3 miles away from us, they're having an event called Homemade and Homegrown Farmers Market. And if you registered by August 28th and got on their list, you can go there for free. You don't have to pay any fee to set up or anything. You just supply your own tables, your own easy up, and all whatever you have to sell. You had to give them a list of the stuff that you were selling. I'm selling painted saws. I'm selling crocheted towels, and I'm selling my hats that I wood burned. And they have to approve that before they say, oh yeah, come on, you can set up. So as far as I know, there's at least a dozen people set up, and I got approved, and so that's free money for me. Anything I bring in is above and beyond for me. So I'm excited, and I got a few, and I sold hats like crazy. You have no idea how many people came up, bought a hat, and wore it throughout and other people came and bought hats. It was amazing. I was so, because I'm not one that I can't price my stuff, and I priced my stuff not really expensive, because I know these hats can go for well over $100 a piece. And of course, I know what it's like to want something really bad and really like it, but not have the money to buy it. So I priced mine at $35 each, and I almost sold out of my hats. So I had to come home and burn a few more hats. So I got like 4 or 5 hats burned. I got baseball caps, and the cowboy hats. And so I got more than done. This afternoon I'm going to work on, I found some suede belts, black ones that I'm going to put a design on. And I've also found at the auction some boots that I wanted to do. So if I get all that done by Friday, that's just extra. That's just great. But other than that, and my saws sold like crazy too, and they were only $20 a piece. But man, I've not had that many saws sold at one time, but they said there was going to be over 3,000 people there, so it was constant, and it was a very long day. It was from 8 in the morning that it opened until 6 at night, and you had to stay there that whole time. If I would have sold out, it would have been a different story, which I was close to, but yeah, it's wasn't so that I was going to totally sell out and be sitting there for a few hours with nothing. So, yep, that's what was keeping me busy. And I popped in when our friend Matt Brown had a live now and then when I could catch it in between doing all my towels. But I had to leave again because I know I had to get these done. So, anyway, enough of my yapping. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you on whatever Wednesday, and we'll see whatever I can come up with or plan on doing. And I do have a second channel now. It's strictly adult coloring, and it's more leaning toward horror themed, um, true crime and serial killer type themes. But I also do any collabs or challenges that come up in the adult coloring world, and I post them all on there. So if you're on my channel here, you can stay here. I would love to have you stay here, but all my adult coloring content is going to be am I Creeping It Colorful. That is my at Creeping It Colorful, CRE. Here, I'll write it on the back of this, at Creeping It Colorful. Creeping It Colorful. That's my adult coloring. And I can show you real quick one of them that I did over there if you want to check it out. This is from the Kirby Roseanne's book. This is Little Mermaid and Dark Fairy Tales. But yeah, now you got a sneak peek of what I do on my other channel. Well, I hope I see more of you back in here on whatever Wednesday. Please give me a like, a thumbs up, a comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't. And I shall see you in the next one. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Bye-bye.